Hi, and my name's Sean Nolan. I am the men's assistant coach here at Cal Berkeley. I also serve as the Olympic Development Program Director for goalkeepers, and I am an Olympian from 2000 Sydney Olympics. I am here today to get you guys to be fantastic goalkeepers. That's my hope. All these drills are set up so you have great base and are ready to tackle any shots that are taken on you. So I've been given a great opportunity to see all the goalkeepers in the nation, and there's a list. Here are the things that you guys need to work on, and these drills will address all of these issues. This is the way that I play goal. I played goalie competitively up until last year. I'm 38 years old. This is what kept me in the game, and these are the things that you guys will need to know if you're going to take it to the next level being a goalkeeper. We're going to talk about the egg beater. Most important part of being a goalie is the egg beater. If we don't have the correct technique on egg beater, we will not be successful in the goal blocking the shot. We need to get those legs working to support us, freeing up those hands for the block. So there's 3 lessons for egg beater, okay, 3 progressions. The first is sitting on the dock of the bay. And what I want you to do, take one leg, just move it in a nice little circle here, okay? Nice vortex, nice and slow to start. Notice the knee's not moving very much at all. And what Will can even do is he can even whip his foot just a little bit and create a little bit more power. You see these eddies that are coming off his legs. That's what we're looking for. That's nice power that we're creating on our egg beater, okay? So he's got the nice foot whip, good eddies, making sure that his leg is never straight, okay? And what he's going to want to do is when he's comfortable with his one leg, he's going to add in that other leg. There we go. And Will's done this before, so he's pretty smooth at it. Go ahead and take your time though if you're just doing this for the first time. Nice power he's creating there. He's going to pick up the RPMs, the rotations per minute. He's creating a nice vortex. That looks really nice. Good job. That's sitting on the dock of the bay. So our second progression on the egg beater is called kicking back. We have our arms up in the gutter, okay? Our back is to the wall, and we're going to basically do the same thing. We're going to start with one leg, and we're just going to start nice little vortex, okay? One leg here. Again, that knee is staying nice and high. That circle that we're creating, pointed down towards the bottom of the pool. Looks really good. And you can see here that foot whip. Okay, now we can't see the eddies here, but if I were to put my hand underneath the water, you would feel the power coming off of his legs right there. So once you feel comfortable with the one leg, we're going to add in the second leg. Looks pretty good. And we crank it up. And he is creating a ton of power. That power is pointed directly down towards the bottom of the pool. Looks really nice. Go ahead and slow it down for me, Will. You can think of that power that we're creating as a rocket, okay? That power goes directly down and we go up. That's what we want. That's what we want. Want to make sure that power is underneath our body. Really, really important. We don't want to have the power out in front of us. We'll go ahead and make adjustment with your legs, right? It's not underneath our body. That's not going to help us out too much there, okay? Go ahead and bring it back underneath. Very nice. Notice it's nice and smooth. Will, if you would mess up your timing just a little bit, if you can. He's pretty good at it, so it's hard for him to do it wrong here, but he's going to try to mess up the timing where it goes boom, 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 instead of nice and smooth, which is what we want. He's having a hard time doing it wrong. Have patience on all of these progressions. It will take time. Will, our model here, is good at it, very proficient, so he's whipping through these very quickly. take your time on all of these progressions, okay? This is our final step, our final class. When you get an A in this one, we got the egg beater down, okay? So again, very, very important to take your time, relax. What we've done here is we place a dowel over the corner of the pool. With that dowel, it gives us a little bit of distance off the wall where we can still be hanging using our hands to support ourselves, and we don't have to worry about our legs keeping us up out of the water. So he's hanging, and what we can do here is just like our progressions on 1 and 2, we just start with one leg, okay? We start with the left leg or the right. We're starting with the left. Again, that knee's not moving very much. We're working on that nice eddy, that nice whip with the foot. I think you can see as it comes around to the front, he's whipping that foot around, creating a little bit more power. So very nice. Again, just like the first 2 progressions, as he feels more comfortable, he can add in that second leg. And it looks pretty good. He's supporting himself by his arms. And gradually, we can maybe take one hand off. Go ahead and take one hand off and see how it feels. Okay, again, we're shifting a little bit of the support to the legs instead of the hands here. If he feels uncomfortable, he can put the hand right back onto the dowel. Okay, and give it a try again, maybe even with 2 hands here. And see how it feels. And if it feels good with 2 hands, and the egg beater still looks good, I think we're gonna get an A in the class. And that's looking like pretty good egg beater there. So Will gets an A for today. Congrats, Will. Will and John are going to be doing a demonstration of where we want our hands to be positioned in our ready position. So what they're going to do is they're going to cross their legs and take the legs out of the equation here. And they're going to have their hands way out to the side. And they're going to see how high they can get themselves up out of the water by sculling with their hands out to the side. So go ahead, guys, see how high you can get up. Go ahead. All right, not bad, not bad, okay. So the next one, I want you to have your hands really tight, right in front of you, really tight. Let's see how high you can get up out of the water. Go ahead, give it a shot. Not quite as high, not quite as high. So this is kind of a setup. We already know what we want, right? So we want shoulder width apart now, okay? A little bit of an arms bent, and let's see how high you guys can get up now. Pretty good. I think that might be the winner. That might be the winner. The 3 little bears of hand position. Okay, very nice. So we want shoulder width apart, elbows bent, and that's where we want our arms to be for our ready position. Very nice. We discussed that the arms need to be shoulder width apart with a slight bend in the elbow. And although we've spent a lot of time focusing on our legs, having our legs support us, having them really think that they're the only game in town, that they're in charge, we still do need to use our hands, obviously. And so we want to get a nice skull here, and we don't want to go too wide with it, okay? Will's pretty wide. Again, we want to keep those arms shoulder width apart, and we also don't want to go too narrow or too quick, okay? It's probably too narrow there. So just the right distance. Again, it's a little bit of a 3 little bears here. We don't want to do a doggy paddle type thing here. Just back and forth, trying to feel the water, feel what is going to keep you up as much as possible. Again, yes, the legs need to be in charge, but I understand the hands need to help out here a little bit as well. So that's about right on the sculling. We're going to do another demo here. And this demo is going to show how important having a nice wide base is for our egg beater, okay? What I'm looking for is high knees and wide base, but I'm going to prove it to you that this is the best way to do egg beater. So what we're gonna do here is we are gonna have Will go as wide as he can with his knees, with his legs, and as high as he can with his knees towards the surface of the water. So he's gonna have good high and wide base position. And John is gonna push down on him for about 5 seconds, and Will's gonna try to keep him off. Looks pretty good, okay? So Will didn't go underwater too much. Now John, this next one, he's gonna push down the same amount, and Will is gonna go a wide base. However, his knees are gonna be lower, okay? So knees are gonna be lower, and nice wide base, and let's see what happens. Oh, and pretty much straight underwater. Okay, this next one might even be a little bit worse. Let's see. So he's gonna have a narrow base, and his knees are gonna be low, almost as if he was doing vertical flutter kick. So John, go ahead and push down on him one more time. Oh, and straight towards the bottom of the pool. Okay, so that one's probably out. Let's go back to our high and wide and see how that one works. I think that one might be the winner. Very nice, good job. We're gonna talk about high and wide. This is one of my drills. This is how I feel really passionate about this drill. You guys just saw how important it is to have that good base position, that high knees and wide base, okay? Otherwise, we just sink to the bottom, okay? We're trying to maximize our effort in our egg beater, and by having that nice wide base and high knees, we are gonna do that. What I'm looking for here is total legs, okay? Hands are out in front of us, that ready position that we already learned, okay? They're underneath the water. We're not having them out of the water. They're underneath the water, but we're not using them at all, okay? This is all about the legs. We need to trick the legs that they are the only game in town. They are the only thing that can be used to help keep us up out of the water, okay? Not the hands. The hands are used for blocking. So Will's gonna be moving forward very slowly. He's gonna have nice vortex with his lower leg, creating a lot of power, high knees, and wide base, okay? Moving forward slowly. Hands are not being used here, good. Very nice. He can get those shoulders up and out. That's totally fine to do. Very good. Now, if he were to move a little bit quicker, there is a tendency, if he were to move quicker, there is that tendency to have those knees drop, and then that vortex gets pointed out behind him, and we don't want that. So make sure that this is a very, very slow lap. We're going to take a look at the high and wide from a different angle here. One of the things that I really want to talk about with this drill is it can be as easy as possible or as hard as possible. It's only how you treat this drill. It basically is a big stretch, okay? So everybody who is doing this drill, whether you're just beginning or you are Betsy Armstrong or Meryl Moses, should feel the exact same doing this drill because we're stretching our own bodies, okay? Really, really important. So it's a slow drill. You're not very high in the water, but I want you to really, really try to push your body to the extremes of what is possible. As Will moves forward here, he is pushing his body. It doesn't look like it right now because it's nice and smooth, but he is forcing his body to be as wide as possible, his knees to be as high up towards the surface as possible, and it hurts. I will tell you, it is really, really tough on the hip flexors. Stretching is really, really important with this drill after we do it. But as he moves forward, it is a lot of work. You'll notice as he moves, if he moves a little bit quicker here, go ahead and turn around, Will. And if he moves quicker, those knees tend to drop. And that power we're creating that we want to be faced towards the bottom of the pool is now faced back towards where he's coming from, and we don't want that. So nice and slow here. that rocket power we are creating with our legs goes straight down towards the bottom of the pool. We can also do the high and wide with a lateral movement. We still are going to have those hands out in front of us, ready position. They're not going to be used. However, it's going to be a lot tougher mentally for you to keep them from moving. So let's concentrate on having those hands not moving. And the reason we want to use the hands is we're moving laterally. And so that falls on the responsibility of the legs now. The legs are in charge. Legs do everything. They're moving left and right, forward, back. They're always keeping you in balance. These hands are for blocking the ball. As we move lateral on the high and wide, really concentrate on taking a big step with that lead leg, using that inner thigh to get a good pull with the water. Really, really important. I want to make sure that those hips are underneath you. Hips underneath you so that we're always balanced here. Go ahead and take a step and kind of be out of whack here. Right? So he's trying to take a big step from that lead leg, which is fine, but there we go. That's more what I'm looking for, right? So as he's leading with his upper body there, I don't want that. I want to take a step with that lead leg and having the upper body follow the legs. Really, really important. You notice he still has that nice wide base. That's looking really good, really good. Very flexible. Great support there as he's moving back and forth, and those hands are always ready for that shot block. After we do that nice high and wide lap, you're gonna feel it in the hip flexors. This is my favorite stretch to do. As soon as I finish that lap, this is what I do. I get my knees up onto the wall, I'm facing the wall, pulling myself towards the wall, and I'm kind of flexing my butt, trying to get it as close to the wall as possible. You're gonna feel it in your hip flexors. And this stretch, not only will it loosen out after that high and wide lap, it really will add to our flexibility and our mobility. It really is a key stretch. So this is the barnacle stretch. Looks pretty good there, John. And you will feel a difference here, and you will see a difference as you do this every day. This is a drill and a stretch that we can do every single practice. We've talked about balance with the lower legs, lower body at all times. We're going to throw a little bit of more motion into it. We have a drill called ping pong where we've set up some cones, and we're going to be bouncing back and forth between the cones. Now this does a couple things. One is it throws in a little bit more motion and movement where we always have to rebalance our legs and keep them underneath us. Really important during all that motion. And the other thing it does is it's a little bit of a conditioning drill. It actually fires up all the little muscles that you need to kind of move back and forth. So one important thing here is I want to be a quick transition from forward, back, or side to side, so that we have to make that quick adjustment to get our hips and legs underneath us all the time. All right. One thing I'm going to look for here is keeping the water. They have some jugs here that they could be using. You could be using a heavy ball. I prefer the jug because it shows you how solid you are in your base, because if the water is sloshing around, that means we're not under control. So we're using a jug here. I want the water to be as smooth as possible, and I don't want your head to be moving around very much as well. Okay, so let's take a look at ping pong. I have two cones here, and Will is going to be bouncing back and forth between the two cones. He's going to be moving as quickly as possible, but notice his legs are almost always underneath him. What I'm looking for is that head is not moving, and that water in there is not sloshing around. He's doing a really good job of keeping that water from moving around. Really nice imbalance this whole time. It's looking very nice. One of the things with the ping pong is that it's working these smaller muscles. So we've done forward back. Will's going to do lateral now. A little bit tougher because we have to now pull back and forth with our legs to the side. He's doing a good job here, pulling with that lead leg. Legs are underneath him this whole time, which is really, really important. And as best he can, he's leading with the lower body. Again, really important that lower body leads. And the water is not sloshing around, doing a good job there. Very nice, very nice. Now we have our really nice balanced position. And we are gonna have to react to what's going on in front of us. External stimulus, we're not in control of where we're going. We're reacting to the offensive team, where they're passing the ball, where they're moving. So we're gonna be moving in our nice, good base position that we've learned, and we're gonna be reacting to what's going on. And so what we have here, I call it partner dance. We're gonna be face to face with our partners. Fingertips are gonna be touching here. We're gonna have a leader and a follower. So leader, they can go forward, they can go back, they can go side to side. The follower needs to react with their legs and keep the distance between their hands the same. We don't want to cheat it by moving the hands back and forth. That's the job of the legs. And we want to try to keep our legs underneath us as much as possible. I don't want to end up like this, okay? I want the legs and hips to be underneath you at all times. So this is partner dance. You can start off slow, you know, a little waltz, but eventually I want it to be, you know, kind of a little salsa action, you know, a little hot and heavy on the dance floor, so to speak. So, partner dancing. John is in the lead here, and Will is going to be following him. Notice the elbows and the hands aren't going to move. All the adjustment is done by the lower body. Will doesn't have any idea where John is going, and he has to read the situation and adjust, getting his legs underneath him as quickly as possible. All right, John, that's more of a waltz. Let's really take him for a spin here. See if you can get him to lose his position. There we go. So external stimulus. Don't have any control of what's going on. We're trying our best to stay balanced. Making sure those hands don't come in. Pretty good, guys, pretty good. All right, should we switch partners here and give Will a shot? All right. John, you're ready for a ride here, I think. Let's go forward, back, side to side. We're looking for good, quick RPM, rotations per minute. I really want those legs to be cranked here. A little bit of separation there. Oh, might have lost the balance. Very nice, guys. We're going to talk about drifting right now. Drifting is really important in that we want to stay mobile as possible in the goal, especially on counterattack. As that team is coming towards us, we want to be able to move and adjust to any kind of cross passes. We have our hips up here, really important. When our hips drop, we're not very mobile. Hips stay up on top of the surface here, and John's moving his legs, creating a good pull with those legs. Looks pretty good. So we're adjusting to the passes as they're coming on the counterattack. Say, for instance, coming down one side, there's a big cross pass, and we want to be able to move and adjust here while still being focused on the ball. The drift is not only just important for reacting to what's going on in the counterattack, it's also important to as a part of our lunge. It can be part of our initial move on our lunge. So Will's going to go ahead, and he's going to drift for just a little bit here, and he's going to take a big pull from that lead leg and go for a nice lunge there. Okay, it looked pretty good. Okay, go slow here, Will. Pull on that top leg, and good. That looked really nice. So what I'm looking for is one big smooth move here. I don't want a two-part move. Let's do just one bad one here, Will, for a second, where we drop our hips and then go. Okay. We want to use that momentum as we come over our hips to get a good explosive lunge. So he steps with that lead leg, lunges. Very nice. We talked about the legs being in charge. They absolutely are. And these next few drills will put our legs in a position that they're not comfortable with. I want them to be uncomfortable. I want your legs to feel what it's like to be off balance so that they can get back in balance. So with that in mind, this is called the cone drill. Below me are 2 cones. On the far side of the pool, there's another 2 cones. They're probably about 1.5 feet apart. What I'm gonna have my goalies do here is they're gonna have their hands out of the water so we can't use them, and they are going to cock their legs towards the direction they want to go, and they're going to take a step with that lead leg leading with the lower body. Okay, once they get their chest centered on the opposite cone, then they're going to head back and forth. So they're basically going to bounce back and forth between the cones. Okay, again, we're always going to be leading with the lower body and not the upper body. Okay, really, really important here. Now, I talked about being uncomfortable. I want you to make a big move. I want this leg to get way out to the side and to have you kind of try to pull as much as you can from that inner thigh. It's gonna feel weird, I guarantee it. But let's get into the habit of being able to take big steps and being able to recover. All right, really, really important in terms of getting us mobility, flexibility, and getting us into the habit of getting a good step towards that nice lunge. The other part of our cone drill is hands in. So you get to have a side-by-side comparison of what it feels like to have hands in and hands out. Obviously a lot easier with the hands in to help support and move. But we're gonna start with hands out right now, and then we'll have our goalies do hands in. You get to see now what it's like with the hands helping out. So we do want to do both hands in and hands out on this so we have a good perspective on what our legs are doing. So Will is going to center his chest on one cone and make a big step to get the center of his chest on the opposite cone that's on the far side of the pool there. Leading with the lower body with that lead leg, and looks pretty good. Go ahead and really, really extend here, Will. Be uncomfortable, okay? Yeah, trying to pull that inner thigh and use that inner thigh to get a good pull. Looks pretty good. All right, let's have you turn around, and we're gonna get a different angle here, coming back. Shifts that lower body towards the direction he wants to go, gets that leg out even farther, and gets a good pull. This is gonna feel awkward. Do not worry about that. All right, good. We're gonna take a look at John doing the same thing. We're gonna have hands out here doing cone drill. So hands out of the water, stepping back and forth. Good. Be adventuresome here, John. Lead with that lower leg. Good pull, very good pull there. So getting that chest back and forth, about a foot back and forth. Get it centered on each cone. Very nice pull. So he's getting a sense of what that leg is doing. It gets out to the side. And how am I pulling? How am I creating the most power? All right, let's turn around, John, and head on back. Good. We want to try not to egg beat her back and forth to the cones, right? We really want to get one big pull to get us side to side. We're going to go with hands in now, and you're going to be able to see how much more you can go with your hands. But again, this is a focus on the legs. So still, really get a good pull with that bottom leg, okay? And we can bounce back and forth fairly quickly here. Now you can see Will is getting that leg out really wide and pulling. We're getting a good step back and forth. Now this is what we want to be doing on any kind of big cross paths, where we really have to turn and face and step to the next shooter. It also is something that we want to do as the ball's coming towards us on a lunge, where we're stepping with that lead leg, getting some good lateral movement here. All right, really important. We're working on flexibility, mobility, all important things. Very nice, good job, Will. Washing machine. The next drill we're doing where I'm putting you guys in an uncomfortable situation. I want you to be awkward, okay? You've heard it before. Really important, if we are playing 5-on-6 defense, we're in the goal, we fall for a big fake, how do we recover and get ready for the shot, okay? So in this drill, we're using a jug. We're gonna hold it out to our side. We're gonna cock our legs towards the jug and take a big step with that body, trying to get our body underneath the jug. All right, get our legs back underneath the jug. John has that jug out to the side, legs are cocked towards the jug, and he's gonna step and bring his body underneath the jug. Good, pulling with that inside leg. Very nice. Again, I know this looks awkward, it feels awkward. We're trying to train that lower body into, one, taking a big step, and two, always recovering and getting underneath our body. Really, really important. Now, a couple things that we can do here. We want to make sure you don't cheat the drill, because this drill can be cheated. If John were to hold that jug out to the side here with his hands, with his arms, instead of stepping over, we can egg beat her over, right? You just egg beat her over, and that doesn't really do a whole lot, okay? Or we could even bring it back into our body with our arms, right? Exactly, right? So we really want to hold that jug out to the side with the arms and step as much as you can, as big as you can, to get your body underneath the jug. Let's go a couple more here, John. Good, constantly trying to find your balance here. And that is washing machine. Now this can be done also with a heavy ball, or even just with your hands out to the side. I use the jug because it has the water in it, and again, we want to try to keep that move from sloshing around. We want to have it be a nice smooth move, so that's why I use the jug. I am concerned about straight leg strength, but the drills that we've been going over today are dealing with lateral stepping, power of the step, okay? Getting body to the ball, getting your head to the ball, watching the ball with your eyes, all the way into your hands. So when we do heavy ball toss or deck ball toss, it's a really common drill. Most coaches just drop it straight and get it back straight. What I'm going to demonstrate now is putting that ball off to the side, off to the shoulders, and having the goalie step to that ball, getting their body behind it, regaining their legs, and they're throwing it back up to their partner on the pool deck. Going side to side, left and right. So we're going to take a look. Will does a great job of this, stepping laterally, regaining his legs. So he's doing as good a job as he can, stepping with that lead leg, not just going with the upper body first. Let's do a couple where you don't step, right? And all you do is go with the upper body. This is not what we're looking for here, guys, but this is an example of bad technique. Right? You see how he falls after he catches that ball? All right. Okay, let's go back to some good technique. I'm having a hard time looking at the bad stuff. Here we go. Very, very nice technique on that, right? See how he's always balanced, head is always up, very nice. We're gonna talk about dino arms. It sounds a little silly, but when I explain it here, it actually might make a little sense. So We start off with little Tyrannosaurus Rex hands here, okay, little hands, and we'll actually end up to pterodactyl hands at the end. First progression though, we're gonna do the Tyrannosaurus Rex, and what we're doing here, again, we're isolating the legs. A lot of these drills are meant to take the hands out of the equation and get the legs to believe that they're the only game in town. I know I've said that already. I'll probably say it again. This is a drill set up to get you guys into the habit of stepping towards the ball with your legs, okay? We're not relying on those hands for that lateral movement. It's all legs here. So we're gonna get John to take some really nice soft shots over each shoulder, okay? And we don't have to worry about the ball hitting us in the head. In fact, if it does, probably what we want. We want to see if we can get a shoulder on it. We want to get our body behind the ball, stepping to the ball. You'll know which direction it's going to go. So John will say, I'm going to your right shoulder, and then just alternate left and right. Nice and soft little tosses here. And I want you to focus on Will's movement towards the ball. John is going to be shooting the ball softly over Will's shoulders, and tell him which direction here. We'll alternate sides. Nice jump on that. I'm not concerned at all with that shot going in. All I'm looking for is those legs taking that big step and moving that upper body towards the ball as well. Now Will's doing a good job here of a quick recovery. As soon as he makes that lunge, he's getting those legs back underneath him as quickly as possible. All right, good guys. Now let's go over a couple of things that I'm not looking for, specifically Olay, which is where that lead shoulder turns back into the goal, and Will would actually end up landing on his stomach, right? We don't want to do that. Essentially, we're trying to give ourselves more time to block the ball, but instead, we're just getting our body out of the way of the ball. We want to step laterally. There, that's a nice one. Good, so he's landing on his side. Now let's also have a couple here, Will. Again, what we're not looking for, where we're landing on our back. So go ahead. All right, where that lead shoulder almost comes too far forward and he's landing on his back. Good, all right. So again, those are things that we're not looking for. So let's finish up with two really nice first progression dino arms. Good. Very nice. You just saw the first progression of dino arms. We're moving on to the second progression. So the hands can now come away from the body, but I still want the elbows to be locked in at your sides. So we're looking for something like this, all right? Elbows locked, hands locked. They are out to the side, but we're not gonna extend, okay? Again, I'm only concerned with the legs here. I'm not concerned with actually blocking the ball. So if we are gonna block the ball, it's gonna be with our body motion here, okay? And so elbows stay in, and we're not adjusting the hands, not waving, not adjusting the hands, all right? So let's go ahead and take a look with Will, second progression of dino arms. So here on the second progression, the hands can be out to the side. The elbows are still locked to the side though of your body. And the shooter can put the ball out to the side just a little bit more than the first progression, since those hands are out to the side of the body. Good steps to the ball there, Will. Our final progression of dino arms. You're gonna be allowed to take the elbows away from the body, but guess what? Still can't use the hands in terms of moving them, right? You can obviously block the ball with the hands, but I want the arms not to move from their original position here. Still obviously focused on the legs, okay? Legs only, but hands out and away from your body here, stepping to that ball. Again, not extending with the arm here, okay? Third progression of dino arms, we'll call it pterodactyl. Good. Shooter should be able to throw that ball even a little bit farther out to the side here. And make sure also that the head is going towards the ball. Will's doing a really nice job here, following that ball with his head. Very, very important. We want to get into good habits here. Very nice. Now it's a lot easier to cheat the drill on this one, so really try to keep those arms from moving. Any kind of block that we're making is all with the body. Good. Nice step with that lower leg. Looks very good. So that's our final progression of dyno arms. Very nice, fellas. So I told you about one of my favorite drills is the high and wide. This is my other favorite drill. It's called Euro, or mini jumps. So basically what we're going to be doing here is mini jumps, back and forth, and we're going to start in our base position, okay? We just learned that nice high and wide, ready position with our hands. We are going to have our hands here, and on the shot, we are going to move just a little jump, mini jump to the side here. Hands come out of the water from directly in front of us. They don't come into the body at all. Hands come out here, head to the ball, eyes watching that ball all the way into the hand here. We want to make sure we take a nice step with the lead leg, okay? Body's going towards the ball. Again, these are not huge lunges here. Everything is a nice small lunge. One thing I want you to notice is there's no downtime with those legs at all. He's recovered and ready to go for the next lunge already. Goalies have a tendency, very nice. Go ahead and spin around. Spin around, we'll take a look the other way. Goalies have a tendency when they lunge, they make this big lunge and then their legs stop working, okay? Legs need to recover. So he's making that lunge and recovering, ready for the next jump here. Okay, good hand to ball, good head to ball. Notice as Will's coming towards me, that body is moving about 6 inches, 12 inches left and right. Okay, good step left and right here, almost as if he's dancing. Very nice. So we can see it also here. Stepping with that lead leg, looks really nice. One thing we want to think about is those hands are going straight towards the ball, or where that ball will be going, okay? We want to make sure that we're meeting it to a spot, okay? Not a lot of motion there, go straight to the ball, straight to the ball. We talk about the ball being a missile. We don't want to be a missile as well, okay? We want to be a wall. We go straight to the spot where that ball will be with the most limited amount of motion possible. Will's now going to demonstrate some of the things we don't want to see with Euro. So go ahead, Will. He's going to do a little swinging there, okay? We talked about going straight to the ball. Not really what we're looking for there, okay? That's a missile and a missile. And here we have a fold. He's folding those hands out. This one, he's pulling his hands into his body first before they come out of the water. Again, we want those hands to come out of the water from out in front of us. All this is taking time. And there's our wax on. Okay, we're trying to meet that ball. Again, we don't want missile and missile. We want missile and wall. Okay, the ball's coming at us really fast. And if we're trying to chop at it, it's not going to work very well. We're going to do one more demo here. This is showing our relative arm strength for where we block the ball. I'm just going to show how important it is to block that ball earlier. So I'm just going to hold my hand up here, and Will's going to push back. And I'm tightening up my muscles. It's pushing, he's pretty strong, but that hand didn't go back too much. So I'm just going to hold it out to the side here, and it's a lot harder. Okay, and I've got old man shoulder here, but I'm gonna get it back here, and it's pretty weak. It just moves back. Even with a little push by Will, that arm is moving back. So the farther back I block the ball, the weaker I am. Now, the more time I take, go ahead and hop back in. The more time that I take to come up and out, that's time the ball is on its way to me and the goal. So the more I'm on my chest and I come here, or I'm here with my hands and they have to come out here, that's all time that it takes to get my hand out of the water, so I'm blocking it later. Right? I talked about Olay before, right? That's just a way for me to block that ball later, and you know I'm so much weaker now as I block it back here. My legs are going, my hands are light. I can now block the ball out here because my hands are not being used to come up and out. So that's really, really important here. We're so much stronger out here than we are back here. The ball hits, it's gonna bounce out in front of us or be under control. Ball hits here, it's gonna go straight into the goal. We've done a lot of work with our base position. We are nice and balanced. We have good RPMs on our legs. They're moving really fast. We have those high knees that we looked at, that wide base. Our hands are out front in our ready position. Our legs are doing all the work for us, okay? Two halves of our bodies. Legs are on fire. They're working really hard. Our upper body's nice and relaxed for that shot. Hands are gonna be free and ready to react to the ball. Now, so we are ready for our lunge. The most important part, the way that we are going to keep that ball out of the goal. So the most important thing about the lunge, eyes, watching the ball. So when that shooter has the ball up, we're watching the ball, and where the eyes look, the head will turn, and where the head turns, the body will turn, and that's what we want. So always head to the ball, eyes watching the ball, most important thing. So we have our ready position here. As that ball is shot, I'm watching it all the way into our hand. It's a straight move with that hand. We talked about rockets and rockets. We don't want a zooming rocket trying to hit a zooming rocket. It's very tough to do. So we want that hand to go straight to the spot where that ball is going to be. And in essence, our hand becomes a wall. Much easier to hit that rocket. All that prep work we've done lets those hands come out of the water without helping us get out. So we have a little bit more time to feel and know where that ball is going because we're not relying on our hands to come up. As we're coming here, if we have bad technique trying to get up, that ball's on its way. But if our hands are nice and light, we have time to know which way the ball is going, and that will help us. When we do go for a lunge, I want to make sure that we are going 100% towards the ball, go for everything, and we're not trying to pull away, okay? I want you to get up as high as you can, go as wide as you can, stay up as long as you can. Even if our hand ends up outside of the goalpost, I'm fine with that. If we tip the ball out of bounds and they get a new shot clock, I'm fine with that. I don't ever want to see a goalie come and pull away from a shot. Okay, really, really important. So we get up as big as we can. We're not using those hands very much at all, okay? If we're going to our left, maybe a quick pop with my right hand here, straight to the ball, and extending, stepping with that lead leg, watching it with our hand and our eyes, and that will be a perfect lunge, and that's what I'm looking for. Let's take a look at a couple examples of a really nice lunge. So Will's gonna start in his fantastic ready position with good RPMs, nice wide base, high knees, hands really light, okay, giving us lots of time to react to that ball, and we're gonna do a couple lunges here. Let's go ahead and do some lunges, Will. He gets all the way out to the side, recovers back center. Good step with that lead leg. You notice his hand is actually landing outside of the post. That's absolutely okay. He's hanging as long as he can. He's getting out as wide as he can. That's great. Good. Hands coming out of the water, out in front of him. Head is to the ball, watching it the whole way. He's not snapping his head back center, which is great. Good, not landing on his stomach or his back. Looks pretty good there. He's using that trail hand to help push. Good. One thing to think about, and it's a really common error for younger goalies, is having a hard time knowing when it's going to be in your halo, which is you go with two hands or you go with one hand out to the side. So you notice he doesn't get as far when you have that two hands. That's good. He's not able to get out to the corners, so he needs to realize when he needs to go with one hand, where he can use that trail hand to push, or when he needs to go with two. All right, looks pretty good there, Will. Thank you. We're going to take a look from another angle of the high corner here. So Will's just going to be going left and right, and you're going to be able to take a look at where those hands are coming out of the water. Go ahead, Will. He's going to keep that head towards the ball, towards his hand, watching that ball all the way into his hand. Everything leads with the head. There you go. He's landing on his side as well. Good. Very nice lateral step with his lower leg. Just do a couple more here, Will. There we go. All right, wonderful. One of the most common things that goalies do is something called pull downs. Now, that's actually a term that I'm trying to get rid of. I'm actually, I don't like the term pull. I've talked about not pulling away. And so we're gonna change that terminology. And I'm actually calling these knockdowns now, where you notice they come up and they're holding and they're not spending any energy coming down. All right, we don't want to help gravity at all. So they get up high, they're not pulling down. These are called knockdowns. They've done a few just right above the head to warm up, and now they're going to start going out to the sides, just over the shoulder, so they have to step laterally. Still going with two hands. These are considered halo knockdowns. So since they're just throwing within their halo, they should be able to react to these balls with two hands, still stepping with the ball, even though they don't know which way it's going, left or right. And they're doing a pretty good job of that, controlling the ball. Head is going towards the ball, body is towards the ball. Everything looks pretty good here. All right, guys, so let's take it to the next step. Let's go with points. So now they are going to know which direction the ball is going. They're going to alternate left and right. And the shooter will actually throw the ball farther out to the side. And so they get just a little bit of a jump on it. We don't want you to cheat completely. But they do know where that ball is going. And we're getting ready to step, again, with a nice lead leg. They're doing a good job. Watching that ball into their hands. Pointing back and forth. So we call these points. You notice even there, John missed the ball with his arm, but he was able to kind of get it with his shoulder. So that's a really important part about stepping to the ball with your body. This is lane line shooting drill. I haven't talked yet about living in the triangle. We're going to do it right now. Our life in the goal, living in the triangle. So you see now that we have the goalpost, the other goalpost, and the ball out there. So those are our 3 points of the triangle. And we always are going to try to find the correct position within that triangle. We want to see how close we can get to the ball without giving up a big lob. Now you'll notice that this is a fairly bad angle to shoot, and So John, go ahead and hold your hands out to the side here. John is on the goal line, and he is covering the entire goal, just right where he is. So we don't have to come out too far, but just for the sake of it, I'm gonna have John gradually move out, always taking away the cage, and as he gets closer to the ball, he's gonna start to move his hands higher and higher and higher. Go ahead, John, start moving forward. Move forward fairly quickly here, John. Okay, so he's covering the whole goal, even all the way out to Brian, all the way out, all the way out. Okay, quicker, quicker. There you go, he's got the whole goal covered. As he gets closer to that ball, he can get more vertical. Keep going, John. We're gonna give you a little workout here. Even more vertical, John, with the arms. And now you can go even to one hand and go all the way out to that ball with one hand. He's taking away the entire goal with one hand when he's that close to the ball. Now come on back to the goal, John. Now we don't want to do that because Brian would just put that ball up and over for a nice lob. So John's going to come out off his goal line in front of the bar. Okay, so in case it hits our hand, it doesn't go in. Okay, so he's in a nice, good position here. Notice how much cage he has covered. A lot, okay? A lot. Now you think about knockdowns for us. Everything is halo on our knockdowns. How many times does that ball get by us? Not very often. So, shouldn't happen here, right? He's covering the same amount of distance as a halo. This ball should never, ever get by him. We still want to step to it, but one of the things that we can do is we don't have to make this big lunge left and right. Hold your water. We don't have to make a big move early, okay? Let's see a couple shots here. And he's stepping to that ball with his lead leg. Very nice step there. Hands are coming from out in front, not into the body. One of the things here is that we need to mentally and psychologically understand that we own this cage. It is very, very difficult for a field player to score from this angle. They should never score. We get to see exactly what the shooter is looking at and understand that that cage is really not very big. Okay? Have great confidence when you do this drill. We have another view of lane line shooting drill. You obviously are taking a look from the shooter's perspective now. Again, they have the lane lines, and it's actually a good drill for shooters as well. They get to see exactly where they're aiming, but obviously we're focused on goalkeepers here. The angle is a little bit bigger here than it was when you saw it from behind. So you notice John has a little bit more cage to cover. Go ahead and put the arms out to the side, John. So he's still covering pretty much the whole cage here, and I think he could very well take care of the lob. So he's in a good spot right there. He's in the right spot in the triangle, so it looks pretty good there. Before I want to have Dudley shoot here, just want to talk about not making a big move early, okay? You have your water, you're in the right spot. You're taking away a lot of cage. So we don't have to make this big move falling forward. We don't have to make this huge lunge out to the side. We don't have to come up early on a shot. So really hold your water, okay? Don't guess, have patience on this. Again, it's the shooter's job to get it by you and not the other way around, okay? Have a lot of confidence here, really, really important. Okay, Brian, let's get some shots in. John's doing a really good job of stepping to the ball there. Again, those hands are out in front and getting nice control here. Very nice control. Let's get a couple more shots here, guys. I talked about living in the triangle. It's constant mathematics, constantly thinking about, are we in the right spot? So Will has the lane line pulled taut, bad angle here. John, go ahead and have your hands out. To the side, so you're covering, there you go. He's covering the whole cage. Now Will, let's have you move. As that ball moves around the perimeter, you're gonna notice the angle changes here, and we always have to be moving and adjusting, okay? Go ahead and keep moving. It's getting a little bit wider, and Will's gonna go all the way up to center cage here. So now as he gets more center cage, you'll notice that just by having those hands out isn't enough, right? So now we can't just worry about our halo here like we could on the bad angle. Now we have to really get into our lunge and have to extend out to the side here. The hands out still, John, same distance. There you go. Good. And what I'm going to do here, we're going to do a little bit of math. John, come back into the goal, please. All right. So we all know that the goal mouth is 10 feet wide. John, how tall are you?
6'6".
He's 6'6". Okay. So we're going to do 10 feet minus 6'6", leaves us with, what is that, John? 3 feet 6 inches. There we go. We got a math major out there. 3 feet 6 inches. If he's on his goal line, that's how much room is to the side of us, right? Our height is the same as our arm span. So in general. So we have 3 feet 6 inches on either side. Divide that in half. That's how much goal we have to cover on one side or the other, okay? So as we move forward, John, go ahead and move forward. Okay, similar to the other drill we did, bad angle. Now finally he has that whole cage covered, but he's too far out. Okay, so we're giving up that lob. Now he has to come back a little bit. And probably about right there, stop. Okay, still has to cover to the side, but he has the lob covered, and all he has to do is take a little bit of a step on that lunge, and he's gonna have everything covered. All right, that's called living in the triangle. We gotta turn on our math brains, okay? It's all mathematics here. We just saw in lane line drill how much cage we actually can cover as goalkeepers and how little cage shooters have to shoot at. So in this drill, it's called stuff drill. Will, our goalie, is gonna get up big. He's gonna hold his water though. He doesn't have to move a lot because he has the advantage. Brian, our shooter, has very little cage to shoot at. So Will is going to get the arms up. Again, we don't want to get our arms straight here. It's hard to move and react. We want to have a little bit of a bend in the elbow, okay? But we don't want to wave too much, okay? We can follow the ball, but we really can hold our water really well here, all right? Because he takes away almost the entire cage here. All right, go ahead and try to score, Brian. Good, a couple more here. Now Will does this a lot, pretty much every practice he'll do this. It's great hand-eye, okay? These shots are coming in from very close, so it's good to pick up these shots quickly. And again, you're seeing that Will is taking away pretty much that entire cage, okay? Will's been doing a great job of cutting off that angle, but on these ones that I'm gonna ask him to do, he's gonna actually fall forward towards the ball and lose his position. So go ahead. Brian can outweight him, put it right over the top. One more here. Falls forward, puts it right over the top. All right, Also on this next one, again, these are ones we don't want to do. Will's going to really swing those hands around trying to follow the ball. Okay, he's going to open himself up, and there we go. And Brian just waits him out and finds that hole. Good. Okay, so Will has his hands back behind him. Okay, we really want to make sure those hands are out in front where we can see them. Yes, yes. We don't want that. We always want the hands out front where you can see them. So let's finish with 2 good ones, Will. That's just a nice shot. Since we're goalies, we got to finish on a block here. We're going to talk about lob covers right now. We've discussed our position within the triangle. Obviously, we want to come out and cut off that angle as much as possible, and that might open us up to lobs. The better we do our lob cover, the more we can come out and cut off that angle, the stronger we are blocking shots, okay? So we are going to have John do a little demo here. Now, the important thing to think about is we don't want to block that lob at the very height of its arc, at the very apex. That's what the shooter is trying to avoid. They want to put it up and over us. Now, they are aiming for halfway up the far bar on the far side here. So guess what? That's where we are trying to go as well. We want to block the ball at its lowest point. So we're going to be reaching up with our near hand. So our shooter is at the 4-5 side over here. We're going to be using our left hand, and we're going to be coming across our body, finishing up on that far bar about halfway right there. It's going to be the lowest point of the shot. All right? So this should be a very explosive move. Okay? It should be a 1-part move. So we're going to be pushing back into the goal here. Okay? Pulling with our right arm, pushing with our left, coming over our body, and we're actually going to land on our chest. This is the one time that it's okay to land on our chest here, okay, because we're turning back into the goal. All right, let's just go ahead and take a look here, John. There we go. Good. Let's smooth it out. So a little bit more of a 1-part move. He's going to get a big step with that lead leg, coming over the body, reach for that back bar. There we go. Little extra pop with that leg. Very last second effort to get to that ball. One more here, John. That's it. Very nice. That's what I'm looking for. Couple of things that will help us in determining whether it will be a lob or not is actually watching the wrist and the elbow of the shooter. So these are 2 very good tells for us. If the wrist breaks here or the elbow drops, chances are it might be a lob. So we get a little bit of a head start. Very important, as that ball's coming, we're following it and watching it with our head the whole time, following it with our hand as well. All right, let's add a ball into the equation and take a look. Looks good, good cover. Now an important thing to remember there, go ahead and guys keep shooting. An important thing to remember is go for everything, okay? Even if the ball is going 10 feet high, we still want to go for every single shot. Very, very important. We want to get in a good habit of going for everything. Good. Also, we don't want to, obviously John knows that he's being lobbed on, so we don't want to anticipate it by going too early and giving up that near side shot, okay? So we really want to react only after we know that it's going to be a lob. That wrist and that elbow dropping will help indicate, but we don't want to guess too much here. Let's go last 2 here, guys. we're talking about Zen right now, and it's almost as it sounds. It's nice and peaceful. What it is a little bit of visualization before the game. It's also something you can do in a little bit of downtime. Say, for instance, your team is on the other side of the pool working. We do have a lot of downtime there as goalies, and this is something that we could do to help our skills here. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with that left hand on the left post, and the idea is that John is going to go in a nice semicircle, and hopefully, things being ideal, we're going to end up with that right hand on that right bar. So we'll see how John does on this. This is called Zen, and did I mention eyes closed, right? So eyes closed. Not too bad, not too bad. And come on back the other way. Perfect. Very good, nailed it. You want to try one more?
All right.
Let's pick up the speed on this one, go a little more game speed. Game speed. Not too bad, not too bad. If you don't get it right away, keep trying. Eventually you will kind of dial it in. So this is a great drill for game awareness and visualization. Where are we in the goal? If we don't have the opportunity to look at our posts and we're locked in on that shooter, the ball's moving quickly, where are we? Subconsciously, we should know when we start doing drills like this. All right, that's Zen. So one other drill that we can do along with Zen in order to get a better sense of where we are in the goal when we're not able to check our posts is a leg kick count. So it's going to be different for everybody. For me, it's 2.5 kicks from one position to the other. So there's the ball is going to be at the 5 spot or down on the left-hander's deep wing. That's where John is set up right now. So he's going to move from that position where he's in perfect position to the ball being passed to the point, which is the 3 spot. And then once he gets to the 3 spot, he will count his legs down to the 1 spot as well, which is the right-hander's deep wing. So like I said, my leg kick count from the 5 spot to the 3 spot is 2.5. So John, let's see what you got here. So now he's center position. All right, John, what was it from 1 spot to the next?
3 for each.
3 for each?
Yep.
So John took 3 leg revolutions to get from 5 to 3, and then 3 to get from 5 to 1. Lots of numbers there. What it does is it's a subconscious thing where we know how many leg kicks we've made, and so we know where we are even if we don't get the chance of looking at our posts. Now, one other way that we can kind of help us out in figuring out where we are is looking at the opposite goal. That does help us out as well, so we don't get too far off center. We do want to check our near post as often as possible, but if that ball is up in a threat, we need to rely on drills like this to help us better understand where we are in that triangle. So we have focused on being in that nice ready position for a straight on shot. Okay, we know where that shooter is. They have the ball. They're the ones that are shooting. We've seen the lunge for that. Now we're going to kind of combine things. We're going to add in a step, a lateral step, and a lunge at the same time, where we're reacting to a big cross pass. Okay, so John in the goal here is going to be faced up on a shooter at the center of the pool at the 3 position. And I'm going to say go, and we have Will down here at the deep wing. Now on the go, John is going to take a step with that lead leg, that left leg, pull himself over, and get into that good triangle position as best he can to take a shot from Will. All right, so I call this go drill. So the only catch here is that when I say go, not only is John moving, but Will is very shortly thereafter taking the shot. Okay, so let's see how this goes here. We ready, John? Yep. All right, ready, go. Good. Very nice there. Definitely notice how John's head did not turn away from the ball. Really important. As goalies, we cannot be afraid of the ball. That is one of the keys. So he kept his head in, watching that ball the whole time. Ready, go. Good. So John is squared up to the shooter at 3. On the go, he steps with that lead leg, squaring his body to the next shooter, which is Will. Okay, very nice. Ready, go. Good. Those hands are out front where they can come out of the water early. He's not using them to come up. That takes time. Go. Good. We'll go one more here. Go. Very nice job. And obviously, we'll be doing this on both sides here just to show you. We're showing you from the 4-5 side. All right, good job, guys. You've gotten a sense of how much I like making you guys feel uncomfortable. Here's one more drill for that. This is 5-on-6 PVC movement drill. And so instead of a PVC today, we're actually going to use a jug. What it does is whether we use a pipe, PVC pipe, or the jug, or even a heavy ball, we're taking our hands out of the equation and we are doing 5-on-6 movement in the goal. So very, very challenging thing to do even with our hands, but now we're removing our hands from the action and we are moving back and forth. So we're sliding with the ball. Ball gets moved around the perimeter. We're moving quickly. And what I want to see also is a big lunge here and there. Okay, so it makes a big lunge into the corner, and by not having his hands available to catch himself and recover, it's the job of the legs. So you see he fell there, but he quickly regained his legs. This is all about uncomfortable. Sorry, everybody. Very nice movement, though. So we're just going to take another look at the 5-on-6 PVC positioning from behind. And please just focus on Will's lower body, how quickly it recovers after a big move. Nice lunges. He's following the ball with his head and his body, always squaring up to the shooter, making a big lunge there, recovering very quickly. Good RPMs on this. He's doing as good a job as he can, stepping with that lead leg on any kind of move. Looks really good, Will. I want to talk about positioning on 5-on-6 defense. More math for us. And the reason this is we're talking about trapezoid. A little bit of geometry thrown in with our trigonometry and our positioning in the triangle. So when the ball is down at either 1 or 6 on the offense, these are the offensive numbers, which is the bad angle shots down deep. We're going to want to have our hands up. Near side hand is up high. There you go. Opposite hand or trail arm, the rear arm is along the water level there. And he's got this whole cage taken away. It's great position. Ball is at a bad angle here. Now when it gets passed up to the top, he can't stay on his goal line. So he's got to step out and away off his goal line, cutting off that angle. There you go. So ball's at 4 now. And let's have a pass to the 5 spot. So he steps laterally, and now the ball goes down to 6. He's got to step back into the goal, and now he can get those hands up. The reason he can get the hands up there is because he's taking away that entire goal with his hands right now. So he doesn't have to move or jump laterally left or right. After the ball goes to 5 or 4, go ahead and step out again. Now that shooter has more angle to shoot, and he has to put the hands back in because he might have to make a big lunge left or right and cover a lot more goal there. All right, so what this ends up looking like is a trapezoid. Let's go through it again here. So he steps across, back into the goal here, down at 1, and let's go 1 to 6 now and finish off that last little piece. 1 to 6, steps along the goal line and gets the hands up there. So it ends up looking like a trapezoid. Just remember, stepping off your goal line when that ball is at 4 or 5, being on your goal line when the ball is at 1 and 6. So there's basically 2 times when we want to leave the goal and try to steal that ball. One is on a counterattack where we kind of slide out, we keep our hips up, and we're looking to steal the ball from the goalie or a field player who tries to make that big, long outlet pass. And the other time is when we're already in the front court and the ball is on the perimeter, could be shot, but yet goes to set, and we want to see if maybe we can make that steal at set. So we're basically doing the same drill here with 2 slightly different approaches. And I call this start and stop drill. The first one we're going to do is that ball is with the goalie. And so we can have our hips up on top of the surface, ready to swim out quickly and make that steal. So we're going to take a look at Will doing a little start and stop. What he's going to be doing is he sees that he can steal that ball. He's going to take long, big strokes as quick as he can, get to that ball. He's going to flip it from underneath out to the side. And then he's going to take 2 or 3 more strokes to get that ball away from that offensive player. Offensive players, field players, they're good at ball handling. They are stronger than we are in handling the ball. We do not want to deal with them. We want to get that ball away from them, flip it away, and get away from them as quickly as possible. All right? So let's take a look at start and stop. Again, this is from a horizontal position. Good. Let's go one more here, Will. You can just go ahead and toss it out to yourself here. Maybe, there you go, perfect. Hips up and explodes out for that ball, flips it from underneath, and gets it away from that offensive player, all right? The key is being really explosive on this entire move, okay? We have to make that decision quickly. Are we gonna come out or are we not? And when you decide, do it. Flips it away and gets away from that offensive player, really good. All right, well, let's get you set up for the other option, right? And that is coming out at set. So on this one, it's gonna be a little bit different. You notice that his hips are down, his legs are underneath him now because he has to honor the shooter. So he's ready to take a regular shot, but if that pass goes into set, maybe he can steal it. All right, here we go. A little bit closer pass, maybe, John. Go ahead. There we go. Flips it out and gets away. Good, good, good. All right, a couple more here. So notice he's going from vertical to horizontal to stealing that ball. Go ahead. It's really important. Go ahead and really flip that ball out to the side, Will. It's really important to not drop your hips. So once you get to that ball, we don't want to drop our hips here. We want to get that leg, that knee up into your body, cock it, and change directions here. Go ahead. One more. Good. Doesn't drop the hips here. And one more for me, please. One more. Flips it out, keeps the hips on top of the surface, swims the ball out of harm's way. Really nice. All right, guys, good job.